Hello and welcome to episode 82 of NPK Live with me, Stephen.
And myself, Thomas.
And today's episode is what's in your grow room? Interesting one. They're always interesting when we get on the mics.
Especially some people's grow rooms. I know we've got some stuff jotted down, but I'm sure some people in their grow rooms have got stuff that should never ever even be in there. But
well, we can talk about them.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
We've got some notes, some basic ones to say what we think should be in rooms, and we've broken them down into basics, better, brilliant, and boss. And boss is a Liverpool word for the best.
Scouse word.
The Al Capone. The
Mac Daddy.
The King.
The bad boy.
The Oprah Winfrey. Have we said enough?
The dog's bollocks.
That's the one. That's what boss means.
Take this hat off. Teaching.
Anyway.
Boom. Sorted.
We're good. We're good.
Sorry about that, folks.
Again, if you're only tuning in to the podcast today, you might have missed last week's. We've actually started going live now. We've got a Facebook group called NPK Live, and we're actually live on NPK Live on Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
on YouTube as well. Are we live on YouTube?
We tried to go. We will be on YouTube.
We've been trying that, but we've
but
been struggling with it, to be honest. With it,
we had Google on the phone. He just weren't very helpful.
Yeah.
It was shit. So, if we start off with what's in your grow room, the basics. And when I say basics, it's only a little couple of paragraphs because I wanted to know, what does it take to grow a healthy plant? What is the minimum that you need to grow a healthy plant?
Well, first of all, you're going to need a plant.
It's helpful,
plant.
isn't it?
Plant would be a good place to start.
Yeah.
Preferably a healthy one.
Yeah.
Dead ones are not ideally good to get going with.
No, you've got it, and then you have to come to the shop and we have to rescue the plants for you.
Yeah, so a plant, maybe a container.
Yeah.
To sit it in, maybe some media.
Some soil or some cocoa.
Soil, cocoa, you might want to jump straight in there at hydro, but beginners.
Just any sort of medium that's going to hold the root system into the pot. A light, you can need some light, because this is an indoor grow room, this is not outdoors. So an indoor grow room, a light, a 600 watt magnetic ballast bulb.
It could be a different wattage, but the most common
600 watts
on the market is the 600
You end
watt.
up having to pay a little bit more now for the 400s and the 250 magnetic ballasts, don't you?
It's quite strange.
And what else would you need? A mixing bucket, some syringes to measure out your cocoa A and B or your soil.
Yeah, some air and extraction.
For a 600 watt light, just a basic 4-inch fan and filter, some ducting, and that's it really. We're going to go to the NPK Live on Facebook and say to you, what basics do you think that you need that are absolutely necessary just to grow a plant, a healthy plant from start to finish? Is there anything that we've missed off there?
Some nutrients.
Yeah, so you'd have your soil nutrients or your cocoa A and B. So essentially it's a light, a pot, a plant, your nutrients, and somewhere to mix up the nutrients.
Yeah.
And that's it. A timer. You'll need a timer to switch your lights from. If they're photosensitive plants, you'll need one that'll...
You could just pick up a basic one as well.
Just a little £10 one.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to grow a healthy plant. And the reason that we've started there is because people have these ideas that you need all kinds of crazy madness to grow a plant.
No.
And you don't. We have been super basic on that one. It's been a little bit pedantic about what you need because...
Pedantic. Where you go again with these words.
I wrote it down.
Let me get my dictionary out.
I just pull the dictionary out each morning and just go... That's the word I'm going to use today. Oh yeah, there was a challenge set to me by Barry as well. I see Barry hasn't joined yet. He was nagging me to tell him.
Hopefully he's doing some work. He probably isn't.
Yeah. He probably isn't. He wants me to say the word epicenter. So I had to get the word epicenter into a podcast.
Here we go.
That'll just make Barry laugh. That's a private joke for Barry.
Well, listen, don't start going off onto another mad one like you done last week about what was bacon factories or something. Everyone was messaging me saying, "Lad, what are you giving him? Hey, what are you feeding him?" Hey.
I was watching the news late at night. And
what was he talking about? I was like, I don't know. I know we had a point in there somewhere.
We would have edited that out of the podcast, but we were live.
Yeah, we're live, so
that all gets kept in.
Yeah,
would need a 4-inch fan and filter.
Maybe it could be a little bit larger depending on climate and outside environments. But for a basic, but then that could be argument.
In the winter only.
Yeah.
So let's move on to... You're very good at stitching these little paragraphs together.
Yeah.
So we could have a bit of a quandary in the grow room in the summer.
Yeah.
I looked up that one as well. So we're on to better. What makes your grow room better than basic? So the first thing I've written is to take it up a notch as a thermometer, hygrometer. Now, Thomas just said that you might need a bigger 4-inch filter, bigger than a 4-inch fan and filter in the summer months. And he's quite right. When it's 28 degrees outside, a 4-inch fan and filter is just not going to cut the mustard. So we upgrade 6-inch fan and filter.
But you would need to know this by monitoring the temperature and humidity. So you would need a tool to do that. Yeah. And that would be your thermohydro.
So probably, not probably, it is a very important tool. And the amount of people...
Essential.
Yeah, the amount of people that don't have one is worrying.
Oh my God, you just need to crawl from underneath that rock.
And go and visit your local hydro store and buy a £10 hygrometer thermometer. Yeah. It's easy and it'll make your life 100% better. Reflective material for walls. So it wasn't in the basics because you don't really need it, but if you're going to make the most of the light that you're giving to your plants,
instead of the light being absorbed into your standard wall or concrete or whatever it is,
carpet, wherever,
you're wasting the energy that you're paying for.
And so reflective materials is important if you're in a room or a tent. Absorb in a tent. What's the proper word? Absorb in a tent. I can't think of the word.
Oh, he's gone. He's done. Yeah,
epicenter of the tent. You want to invest. That's the right word. You want to invest in a tent if you're not going to get reflective material
or good quality. Yeah. If you're not going to because if you're not going to invest in reflective material, because a tent can be quite costly as well, depending on size. So you could sheet out a room for a fraction of the cost of what some tents would be. Maybe a 3x3 space to sheet that space, as opposed to buying a tent, is going to be a hell of a difference in price. So it just depends. Different horses for different courses. Boom. Another one of my favourite sayings. Just depends how much you've
got to spend.
And
how good you want your room, because tents are better for some people, horses for courses. That's it. Next up is a basic pH and EC pen. They're not that accurate. You buy them for £15 to £20.
For you people who are still out there thinking,
you've never used one ever.
What's a pH and EC pen? Oh my God, you just need to get with the program seriously fast, because you're still guesstimating on how this plant feeds and how much EC nutrient it requires through different stages of its life, i.e. when it's a little baby, from when it's a teenager to adult, to an OAP. Do you know what I mean? It requires tea and biscuits, as Steve's, one of Steve's top sayings is. Now, you need to determine the levels of nutrient throughout that stage, so you need these instruments to measure it. If you haven't got the instruments, you're guessing, and your plant will never be to 100% perfection, because unless you're really good at guessing. But come on, so wake up.
The reason that we've said basic pH and EC pens, the £20 ones, we don't tend to stock them in
no,
the shop.
It's the crap, because they just don't last, and you'll be coming back to shop in 6 weeks' time saying this thing isn't good. But not only that, the cheap ones are inaccurate, which is something that I don't like. So that's why we always sell Blue Lab, because I'm a big fan of it. Boss Company, it's been around since day off in the industry, and the equipment's top notch.
The guarantees that come with them.
They don't pay us to say this stuff. We say it because it's the truth. If anyone wants to dispute that, please feel free to do so and let me know. Who's a better
EC and pH manufacturer?
Yeah.
Water instrument measurer?
Yeah. That's it.
See, I can use basic words sometimes.
I know, but they don't sound as good as your posh ones.
Next up would be a PK additive. So the basics, we were just a and B if you're in cocoa, or a soil nutrient. So now that you've come to the better grow room, you're probably going to see PK additive. You're going to be using them. Some of them you use for 1 week only, week 5. Some of them you use from week 2 or 3, all the way till the very end of flush. It's your choice, but simply using a PK additive is going to enhance the flowers on your plant.
Delving into George's Marvellous Medicine, last week's episode. So then you can then start to maybe assess your plant and start to study it a bit more and tweak on certain areas of growth or flower and enhance various aspects of the plant's life cycle and different elements, i.e. George's Marvellous Medicine. That's your concoction for you to develop and design, and your blueprint to your plant's life.
Yeah, and your specific grow room as well.
Yeah.
As well as a PK, you would more than likely be using a metabolism booster, more commonly known as a sugar booster. And the reason that you would do that is because, as well as the base nutrients, and this is how I describe base nutrients, it's your Sunday dinner. It's your potatoes, your veg, and your meat. So there's some growers out there that are recommending to their friends and to other growers.
So let me get it right. It's your meat and your veg.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah. Yeah, you put me off all the time, you know, with these fucking innuendos. And don't say in your endo. Back to me Sunday roast. The meat and veg is your A and B, is your base nutrient. And what some growers are recommending, very strangely, is that when you come into the flowering period, you will drop down on your A and B and include more boost, more PK, and more of these flowering additives. It's a really, really strange thing to recommend to do, and it's completely wrong as well. Basically, what you're doing, if you drop down on A and B, you're taking away your potatoes and you're taking away your meat and you're taking away your veg. And when you're adding boosters and PKs, you're simply adding gravy and mint sauce to your Sunday dinner. You couldn't survive on gravy and mint sauce.
I like mint sauce though.
I know you do.
I'll splash it
you always get it all around your shop.
Yeah. Every time we go for the Christmas scran.
Yeah. And it always ends up down your jumper as well.
Yeah, my Christmas reindeer jumper.
And there's pictures of that available on the Facebook site.
Yeah, we're not actually lying.
Yeah. So yeah, don't ever reduce your A and B and try and add more boost and PK. That's the wrong thing to do. A and B, your base nutrients is your full Sunday dinner. And if you want to add a bit of gravy, a bit of mint sauce, a bit of mustard, you can do that with additives. And that's what will make your grow room go from basic to better. Next up is, in your better grow room, you're going to spot higher quality media. So, something that has a better buffering capacity. And what I mean by that is when you add your nutrients, and now you've got your pH pen, you'll be checking your pH. You'll probably put it in around 5.8 to 6, depending on the variety of crop that you're growing. Your media, if you buy cheap, crappy media, you can tend to see pH fluctuations going up and down. If you invest in higher quality media, cocoa media or soil, then there's a better buffering capacity. So as the plant is uptaking nutrients and changing the rhizosphere, it can absorb those pH swings, so you're less likely to have those big swings, and it's better for the plant. And secondly is the cation exchange capacity.
Oh, here we go.
The CEC. I'll be dead quick, I promise.
I know. Go on, go for it.
So higher quality medias, better CEC, which is cation exchange capacity. And if you look on the packaging, higher cation exchange capacities will mean that the media is making the nutrients more available to the plant.
So hold on a minute. Let me get this right. The writing on the bags of the media in the shop,
that means something.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not just telling you Willy Wonka's favourite media, it's actually saying cation exchange capacity, the pH of the media. It's got a lot of useful information in there.
So all of the bags, they're all different colours and whatever, they actually are not the same inside.
No, there's different medias inside.
I thought it was just all fancy different coloured bags.
Probably a lot of people do as well, but there's a massive difference.
And we just put different prices on for the fun of it.
I think that's what customers think that we do as
well.
Oh,
yeah. Right.
No, there's better. So if you dig deep, and media, I'm sure we've done a podcast on media as well.
We did.
I think we can go even deeper and talk about even more stuff than buffering capacities and cation exchange capacities. But it's important, and it just goes to show how involved you can get with your media. So get involved and improve and make your grow room go from basic to better by investing in better media.
Not only that, if all of this information is just like, because it can be quite daunting and confusing and overloading, make sure that when you go into your grow store and you've heard what we've babbled on about, and we're not talking about our shop, some of our listeners are millions of miles away, but when you go into your grow store and you do decide you are picking a media, ask the counter servers, what are they called?
We're just called the people.
We are the people.
Yeah.
But what did they call the other people in the other shops? Assistants.
Yeah.
Ask the grow shop assistant people, what's the difference in the medias? What is the cation exchange? What is the pH buffer? Have they been washed and cleaned? Is any EC residue in there?
Mm-hmm. It's another thing that we haven't even touched on, the residual salts left over from not washing them properly.
Yeah, where some people state that they actually put EC in there and nutrients in there, but the actual truth of that is I'm not going to name them, I'm not going to get into it on this podcast, I'll do it on a different one. But it costs that much to wash it. Yeah. There's still residue left in there, and so they actually say that they're putting it in, but they're not. It's just they can't actually wash it all out.
There's residue from the sea salt that just washes up in the cocoa fibres.
Yeah.
That's we're getting deep into media.
Yeah.
And we can leave it all the time.
But all I was saying is, if you don't understand, make sure you should be able to pop into your grow store and speak to someone in there, and they will be able to give you the accurate information. If they look like you fell out of the sky, you're clearly in the wrong shop.
Yeah. And there's plenty of shops that do know, and will be able to assist you. So make sure you're at a shop where you say, what's the cation exchange capacity of such and such media? If they go, well, actually, it's this and this and this, you're in the right place. If they go,
well, yeah, let's put out a test to everyone who's listening. Yeah, go into your when you're next in your hydro store, ask them a random what the cation exchange is on a brand of media.
Yeah, and
see how they respond to that.
That's a good yardstick for how good your grow ship is.
And let us know.
Ask what it is on a bottle of Boost and see if you see.
Yeah. And to really confuse them, Rick just said, ask them what it is on a bottle of Boost.
Yeah.
That really stumped them. What's up next on the Better Grow Room? You would use better pots, plastic pots, very generic, and work just fine.
And there's plenty of varieties, which we covered in complete range of podcasts when we do pots and media.
But you're more likely to see cloth pots in the Better Grow Room.
Yeah.
Better aeration. You can reuse them if you buy the better ones, and it's going to give you an improved, healthier plant.
I think up to 5 years, some of them you can reuse too.
Yeah.
Just once you've finished, pour out the waste. I think you do have to pull some of the roots out. They can be quite tangled, and then you can stuff them all into a pillowcase
and just give them a wash.
Boom, bang them in the washing machine, and away you go.
There's another good point, and you can ask this question. And asking this question in your grow shop will let you know how honest and how truthful they're being. Can you reuse your pots, your cloth pots? If you buy the really cheap ones, it's a possibility they come all tangled and horrible. But if you buy the good quality ones, you can reuse them 100%. And also your cocoa, can you reuse cocoa?
Yeah,
of course you can.
I'm not a big fan of it.
Well, yeah, because there's a slight chance that if you haven't spotted any disease or pest, it can come into again. It can come into your second room. But if you can guarantee that you've had no pest, no disease, you run an enzyme solution through there to break down the roots.
Obviously, you'd have to remove most of the dense material matter.
You can reuse your cocoa, and some people actually believe it's better the second time.
I don't believe so.
No.
You
prefer to get new bags?
Yeah, that's just a personal preference. I've tried it enough times, and I've done all palaver with the enzyme and removed all the stuff out of it. And
it wasn't worth your time.
Oh no, it was just a pain in the bloody backside, to be honest with you. It just wasn't worth the energy. You're just going back to the shop and going buying another 5 bags of cocoa. Do you know what I mean? Because it cost me that anyway in enzyme, but time and messing around,
and then waiting for the cocoa to dry out.
Yeah, that was the pain in the arse part. Pardon my French.
But yeah, using better pots you would get in your Better Grow Room, and you'd probably be upgrading your lighting as well. So you're probably going to digital light kits.
Yeah.
So as opposed to the magnetic kits with your 600 watt bulb and shade, you'll have upgraded to a digital light kit. It's dimmable, and you can use the same bulb and the same shade.
And it's actually giving you the right power rate and what you think you're getting. So if it's a digital light and it's 600 watt, it will be pushing out 600 watts, as we spoke about in previous podcasts with the magnetic ballast. Nearly got lost. Magnetic ballast, sorry. We've done various tests across the board, haven't we, Steve?
Yeah.
And from the cheapest ones to allegedly the best ones, and every single one of them all weren't pushing out what they should. A lot of them were less, severely less, maybe 200 watt, 150 watt less.
And varying as well, going a 600 watt ballast, pushing out 650.
Yeah, that's what we've got some of those in the store at the moment, because they prove to be more of the more reliable ones. Some of them were fluctuating quite a lot between themselves. So,
and then finally, like we said at the beginning, better extraction. So in the summer months, your 4-inch fan filters are not going to cut the mustard, and you'll have probably upgraded in your better grow room to a 6-inch fan filter with probably an air in as well to assist with your air movement. And we want to know, the people that are watching on YouTube, so you can comment live, what would you include in the better grow room? So we're not talking the best grow room or the boss grow room, which will come later. Going from your basics to better, what would you include? And let's have a little look at some of these comments here.
Yeah. You'll have to read them, Steve, because I can't see them.
Phil said, looks like something that he uses. A Gecko 6-inch acoustic box fan, 4-inch axial intake, 600 watt Omega digital, HPS in a 5-inch cool tube, 30 litre fabric pot, 16-inch oscillating fan, temperature, humidity meter, Scrogner for medium soil, Supreme, mixed with Charge Eco 5, and for base feed, Old-Timer Organic and supplements, Botanica Vitamino, Pure Blend Tea, Cplex in a cheap old 1.2 by 1.2 tens that definitely needs replacing soon.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a good setup.
I like it.
Probably you're a little bit over better. You're
Definitely.
probably in between better.
Yeah,
and
defo.
Brilliant.
Defo.
Some aspects are brilliant.
Yeah, they was.
Some aspects are better.
What was the feed that he mentioned again? What did he have? Botanica?
Yeah, he had some Eco 5 charge, some
Yeah,
Botanica
Eco 5,
Vitamino,
Botanica Vitamino.
Old-Timer Organic, which is plant magic.
Boom. Yeah,
nice little schedule.
Yeah, it's a schedule that I haven't come across them mixes before, so it's quite interesting. But sounds good.
He also said, it's from Phil again, my pH EC pen broke. I've just been winging it this cycle. The old school pH tester solution is getting me by for now. Definitely need to invest in a Blue Lab pen.
What was the one he had previous?
Phil, let us know what the
what was the broke one that you had,
and how long did it last for? And what did you think of it? But yeah, invest in a Blue Lab, always a good choice. But the pH tester solution, that can get you by if you haven't got.
Well, because he's on here and he's doing comments, we'll give him 10%
on the Blue Lab.
On a Blue Lab,
pen.
yeah.
Okay, come in and get that.
Yeah.
Right, next one, George. Blue Lab are ace. Essentials and HM Digital are also good sellers around here. Actually, I've only ever had to replace a Blue Lab trunction under warranty. Never Essentials or HM Digital. HM also give you new temp, so possibly a little better. Well, Blue Lab also gives you new temperature on your Blue Lab pH pen. It gives you the water temperature and the pH.
We have stocked a couple of HM Digital things.
We found that they tend to last about 3 months to 6 months, depending on how well the grower looked after them. So when you buy, that's a good point to make. When you buy the cheaper pH and EC meters, especially more the pH meters, if you don't look after them, they're going to fail on you very quickly.
Yeah.
If you're really anal about scrubbing them and cleaning them, keeping them in a potassium chloride solution.
You've got to keep your end wet.
We still talking about pH pens?
Yeah.
Okay. I got confused there for a second.
Always keep your end wet. The little thing on the end inside.
Is that like a hydroponics tip or just a tip for life?
Well,
for now it's a hydroponics
because everybody lets the probe dry out.
Yeah.
And in the cap, in all pH meters, it's got like a little cup that you can pour your solution in. Even if you just put water in it, close it, and it keeps it moist. If you don't do that, you'll be buying one every week.
How many people that are watching now hate the word moist? Comment if you hate the word moist, because the amount of people that say to me, I hate that word. It's quite funny. George said, don't forget, can always reuse media, but out in the garden for your veggies, etc. Yeah, it's a good point. So
as we do ourselves.
Don't throw away your cocoa.
No.
If you're not going to reuse, make sure you put it into your bedding plants. It's brilliant. You've used it already. It's got loads of nutrients in it, and it's great for your veg garden.
Our allotment's full of it.
Yeah, great point, George. Phil then said, I always use fresh medium. It's too time consuming reconditioning soil when it's cheap enough to replace the only.
Exactly.
The only problem there though is getting rid of all the spent medium. Phil, listen to George. He put it on your allotment, put it out into your garden.
See, if you haven't got an allotment, just bag it up and take it down to your local allotment, because they love all stuff like that. Just tell them what it is, explain it to them, and let them crack on with it.
Eric, water filter. Eric, you're jumping the gun. We've got water filters, but that's in the brilliant grow room. You just hold your horses, and you're saying it's 8 o'clock there. Wakey, rise and shine.
Yeah.
Phil said in response to us asking what pH meter it was, I can't remember what brand it was, but yeah, it broke because it got knocked over and the fluid in the cap leaked out.
Boom. There you go. Ooh.
Now we're putting our necks out on the line here because it's the
some
biggest
people
page
have
of
some
notes. Me notes for the brilliant grow room, just so I try and remember everything that I need to say.
Yeah, otherwise we just ramble on about.
And for the people that are watching on the live stream, what do you have in your brilliant grow room? The next two up are brilliant and boss. Boss being a Liverpool word for the best. So what would you have? What do you have in your brilliant grow room? We're going to start talking through this now.
Yeah.
What could you do to make it a brilliant setup? So, and again, I'm going to go out on a limb here because some people will disagree. A transition from hand feeding pots to an automated system such as flood and drain, dripper systems, AutoPots, or something a bit more in depth such as DWC and reverse DWC. When I wrote that, I've also written something else that it could be a little bit contentious because that some people will actually say, well, I hand feed and I can get just as good results as you hand feeding that you can get in a system. So what makes your room more brilliant than my grow room? And my response to that is that the people that are hand feeding more than likely end up on back pain medication because you're filling up 100 litre, 200, 400 litre water butts, you're bending down to fill them up, and you can also, sometimes you can get it a bit wrong as well. You can give maybe a little bit too much, maybe not quite enough.
It also gives you less time to pay attention to other areas within the grow environment.
And the more plants that you've got, the harder it becomes to effectively irrigate your plants. Okay, so you would probably invest in a system. What's your favourite system?
Multi-flow.
I probably agree with you. I like...
Sure, well, you know what? I jumped into that. The multi-flow for a multiple system.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also love the bubbler, don't I?
Yeah.
As a personal...
I was going to say that I love the DWC. That's my favourite.
But if you're doing more than one plant, multi-flow.
Multi-flow, yeah. AutoPots are also very good.
Yeah.
That's if you're not irrigating with electricity.
Yeah.
If you don't want to use electricity, gravity-fed small pipe inlet system.
Yeah. Well, I would have put AutoPot on the list beforehand. To be honest, we never mentioned that. I would have actually put that on the better system one. Because, to be honest, you can even. I've seen you can buy a basic AutoPot setup now. Anyway,
you could. Yeah.
That you be selling store. So I think it would have been fair to put it in better, because by the time you get to better, you should have definitely experienced AutoPot as part of your grow career.
So we'll rewind. We'll rewind the live video. Put the sign back on.
Yeah.
AutoPot goes into the better one. I'm going to read this comment out now because it's got to do with systems. Ian said, IWS is system every time. I wonder why he said that.
Who's this Ian guy? Who is he?
Let's read further into this comment. I did make the system, so I'm a little bit biased.
Yeah, we love that. At least he's honest, though, and we like that.
Yeah.
But you know what, though, Ian? I like it. I like IWS, and I haven't really got anything bad to say about it at all.
Bad.
Only reason, as you know, my pals are in deep with the multi-flow, aren't they? Yeah. So obviously, I've been using that, and I've grown to love it a bit more as well.
And your favourite colour's terracotta.
Yeah. But IWS is a kick-ass system, and we sell a lot in our store. Yeah. We don't just sell multi-flow in our store, just so everyone knows. We sell any system that anybody requires. We sell Alien, IWS, multi-flow, all of them. Yeah. And IWS is a top-notch system. So I'll give you that. So well done, you Ian Collins, for building that thing.
Yeah,
Big done. Slap on the back for you, because it's the dog's doodahs, and a lot of my friends use that system. So, yeah.
Included in the podcast.
Yeah.
IWS.
Yeah.
And if you're using IWS, you're definitely in the brilliant Bandcamp of grow rooms.
Yeah, definitely.
Next up is EC pH and water temperature monitor that can measure maximum and minimum points. So this is your I'm going to say Blue Lab. I didn't really want to do the podcast mentioning brands, but I have to because Blue Lab's my favourite and it's what I use.
Yeah, but it's not that we mention them because we're getting paid for. It's just that we're having a conversation and we want to tell you about the good gear that we like to use.
We use, yeah.
So there
and
you
what
go.
we recommend other people to use.
Yeah.
Now
if Blue Lab want to pay us though, because we do actually love yous, and yeah, they should give us 10 grand.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll say Blue Lab in every podcast.
Yeah, because we love it anyway, and we're going to do it anyway. I shouldn't really said that. Yeah, so
there's two of them that I like. One is the best one is the Guardian, constantly green backlit. You can always see your pH, your EC, your water temperatures, and it gives you a silent alarm of flashes if it goes beyond the critical parameters.
This is a fixed system.
Yeah, fixed onto the wall.
Yeah, so
needs electricity port at all times.
Where I like the little Gucci
like
blue, the mobile stuff, and you get a little you can buy a little fancy bag,
the combo meter, or the combi meter.
Yeah, and I just love them. I think they're great.
Mr. Portable.
Yeah,
that's what you sometimes get called, isn't it?
Ready to go.
HM Hydromaster, all I use. Well, if Eric uses it, it must be good.
Never seen it. If HM Hydromaster's watching, send us a piece of kit so we can have a go of it.
What's Gareth saying? NPK stock the V3R multi-flow as well, don't you guys? Well, Gareth, you've just missed us talking up the multi-flow. We actually said,
but you know what? Yeah, but we never spoke about the V3. So this is Gareth, the gang behind the multi-flow, and they have just launched. They launched it a while ago, you bloody buggers, didn't you? And we've been hounding you for it because we were tweaking.
Wasn't quite right.
Well, and you know what? We'll mention it. I threw a hissy fit last week, didn't I? Because customer comes, we give them the new system, and through lack of knowledge on my part and our part, and some missing instructions, might I add, which is a bit of a not
kicking
good,
the balls.
Yeah, to say the least. We got a big cob on, didn't we? Because we couldn't figure it all out, and we was like, no, this thing's too complicated. So Jay come down, one of our friends, but also one of the guys who works for them, and basically does a talk through, which lasted probably a minute. And then he stood there and looked at me and said, lad, are you messing? That's how it works. And I'm like, well, obviously, if there's no instructions, I can't look into my crystal ball. But once he showed me, it was just easy. Like, so easy.
Yeah. That's how it's made, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah, very. And we've got
like
it set up
morning.
Constantly in the shop now. So if anybody wants to come and have a look at that, please do. Even you, Ian, if you want to come and have a look, by all means, do so.
I spy with my little eye.
And then we'll get Gareth here and we'll have a big Royal Rumble.
The NPK Live episode 100 Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, we're setting that up
IWS
soon. Yeah, we're setting that up, aren't we? We're getting everyone in there, pitting everyone together, aren't we?
Watch out, episode 100.
But yeah, big shout out to the V3. Boom, love it.
The Hydromaster, Eric informs us, does everything that the Guardian does, but it's portable and plug-in.
Yeah.
Oh. See, they do have good bits of kit in the US that we don't get to see over here.
See, over there, they're just ahead of us, as they always say. Do you know what I mean? We're a bit still in the dark ages. They're just...
And that's not like putting us down.
In a big way.
We're using that as a kick up the arse to all the UK innovators, the UK manufacturers, to be like, come on, let's represent the UK.
UK scientists, people who are sitting there thinking, let's think of a new idea.
Yeah, let's have it with the US.
So, we've covered the EC and pH in Brilliant.
No. Maximum minimum points, ECPH, that's what you'd see in your Brilliant grow room.
You'd have to.
Next up is an airstone or water mover for the reservoirs to keep everything mixed up properly. Who does the best? We
didn't actually mention any reservoirs in the previous, did we?
No.
So definitely in Brilliant you would be using reservoirs to make easy time of watering. You might set up a system of filling the reservoir, a fixed tap line in. It's just starting to move really in depth now, which we had in the tobacco factory. As you recall, we had
the big 1,000 litre flexi.
1,000 litre flexi, and above the 1,000 litre flexi was a solid line, fixed line water tap that we had tailor fitted in for us. And it was just perfect. And not only that, we had a drainage sewage hole custom fitted for us, and so at the end of the week we could just crack the tap off the tank and let it flood onto the floor straight down the drainage hole, close the tap, and then boom, we could just fill a tank from the tap above, and it was perfect, really. That's when you start to get brilliant and boss. Yeah.
So if you're not using an airstone or a water mover, think about investing in one. It's going to keep all your nutrients mixed up, all your nutrients circulated.
Talking about it
from settling.
A water mover, yeah, some people don't even know what a water mover is, and it's something I used to use myself a long time ago, and I didn't realise how crap it actually was until I got it explained to me. Some people put a water pump, you know what, you pump your water around the dripper ring, one of them, maybe a Maxi Jet or something, a little pump, Haley or whatever, and they'll put that in a water butt and think that that's going to be moving the water. It's not at all. You'll still get stagnant crap floating, and it just won't mix a solution properly at all. You get a proper water mover, it looks like a little
turbine
fan thing, small thing with a little propeller in it, and it's got like a suction pad or an attachment point. You put it inside the water butt, you plug it on at the mains, and it circulates the water, makes a little whirlpool. Away it goes.
Keeps it nice and circulated.
Really cheap piece of equipment, very good piece of kit. Definitely would be in a brilliant grow room.
Also, it keeps the water temperature the same.
Yeah.
Homogeneous. How about that for a word? Homogeneous all the way through the water. So you're not having warm water at the top, cold water at the bottom, and plants are like, whoa, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
All the whole water temperature can be the same throughout. So definitely invest in airstones or water movers. Moving on to lighting, what lighting would you have in your brilliant grow room? Double-ended fixtures. That's where we're up to now.
Double-ended fixtures.
So in the better grow room, you had digital light kits.
Yeah.
With a standard shade, a standard bulb, maybe even a North Star F1 Hortiline shade.
Yeah.
In the better grow room. But in the brilliant grow room,
well, you definitely have an upgraded shade anyway. Everything's going to be is going to be upgraded, because by the time we get to boss, everything's going to be next level, superstardom, the whole doodahs. So you're going to be on upgraded shades. You're going to have removed yourself from the basic bulbs, up the level of that. Some people might even be looking into light movers around in different directions across the room.
Sunrise, sunset features.
Yeah.
I know the Dimlux does sunset, sunrise feature, infrared camera. You're getting into top quality light.
Yeah.
And seeing as we're mentioning brands, the most prominent double-ended full fixture is Gavita.
Yeah.
They're the main players, but there are others, and
Solistech.
Now, we haven't started our side-by-side Gavita versus Solistech testing, but we have done testing on Solistech, and the initial results have been really promising. And the thing that's different with Solistech is the light diet. So in your brilliant grow room, you start to think about metal halide bulbs, different Kelvin numbers. So they've got this lovely finishing bulb, a 10,000K finishing bulb, metal halide. You put in for the last 2 weeks for oil production, resin production, and then they have the 2K, 4K, 6K bulbs as well. Yeah. So you're having a different light depending on what stage the plant's at. And
so there's 4 bulbs.
Yeah, double-ended.
Beginner.
So the beginning of the plant's life cycle, the transition stage, following into the majority of the 12 hours of flowering, and then the metal halide boost at the end as well.
Yeah.
Also, the Revolution Micro. This is the one that's been.
This is something you've been doing your research on. It's something I don't really know much about.
I've been following the Revolution light, the Diva. DEVA. It's not like this type of light that wants perfume and disco lights. No, it's the DEVA.
Disco Diva, no.
No.
Okay.
It's been talked about a lot. It's been designed by a gentleman called Greg Richter, who is a phenomenal engineer. He builds...
Oh yeah, I've heard some stuff on this guy.
He builds airplanes for the fun of it. He rewires jet electronics and all that kind. So I'm thinking to myself, I don't really know much about the light, but if that guy's designed this light, he's done something to do with sine waves, low emission, all fancy stuff that goes over the top of my head, but it's a promising light, and it's probably going to be in the UK, fingers crossed, this year, but it'll definitely be in the UK by 2017.
We have been talking about that coming out for a while, haven't we?
So keep your eye out for Revolution Micro. It's going to be up there with Solistech, and I believe it'll be up there with Gavita as well. What I want to know though is, we know that in the UK Gavita is the branded double-ended fixture, and I know in the US they've got quite a few imitations of Gavita, They have. I'm not going to name them in case they start getting a paddy on. And I don't know 100% that they have imitated, but there's other double-ended.
We'll find out and we'll name them at a later stage.
We will. Well, you've got Solistech over in the US, and you with the Revolution Diva will be over in the US. But what's in Australia? I don't know. If anybody knows what the main brand of lighting in Australia is, let us know, because we've got a big following in Australia. If you are listening down under, we want to
put another shrimp on the barbie, mate.
They're going to love you, aren't they?
Love me. They all love that, don't they?
That's not a knife.
That's not a knife.
Tell us what's the best
I love
lighting.
Mick Dundee.
He's great.
Great, isn't he?
Someone, I can't remember where I read it yesterday, but I think it's a Simpsons cartoon, and somebody jumps out and tries to rob him, and he goes, "That's not a knife." And the fella goes, "That's a knife," and he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's a fork," and he goes, Nick Dundee goes, "I've got a fork as well." And he goes, "Let's go for dinner." It's something along those lines. It's quite funny anyway. So yeah, in Australia, let us know what lights you like to use, and in other countries as well. I only mentioned Australia because they're our third biggest subscriber.
Do you remember them adverts? Castlemaine 4X will do.
Castlemaine 4X. It's a blast from the past, isn't it?
What was it? Didn't he leave the woman stranded in the middle of the desert or something, and the fella would be just driving off in his
with all the Castlemaine 4X in the passenger seat.
What was the slogan though?
You are a lot older than me, remember?
Oh, come on, carry on.
I don't know. So yeah, the lighting, the double-ended, the Revolution Micro. Australia, let us know. Reflective material. Now, you will tent some reflective material. Your tents will be your premium tents. It'll be your Secret Jardins. It'll be your BudBoxes. Now that Green Cube have absolutely upped the game. Green Cube will be up there. There's going to be some other tents that skip me memory, but they're my personal 3 favourites. Homebox as well is a good one. So you start to use really good quality tents. Reflective material though, you're going to start using Diamond Mylar. You'll find that this type of sheeting is about £4 a metre. Orca, which is the really strange reflective material because it looks matte.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know.
It's got some scientific stuff. I'm surprised you
I haven't done the testing.
No.
Yeah. I'm going to hit you up for some light testing equipment. I'm going to hit up the NPK bank, and you're going to buy us some. You're going to buy us some.
We're going to hit up these companies who are telling us how amazing. Yeah, who are telling us all this stuff's worth £10 a metre and all that. You know what I mean? So
in the brilliant grow room, you're going to have tents with thicker poles, military grade zips, all kinds of fancy stuff that make your life a lot easier. White line tents from BudBox, really high quality silver mylar,
nice lights, digital ballast, digital dimmable ballast, good bulbs, upgraded bulbs,
Sylvanians,
shades. Yeah.
Next up is in the brilliant room, you're going to have a full profile nutrient regime. And what I mean by that is a stable base nutrient, so one where your pH doesn't fluctuate,
with a full range of measuring instruments.
10mm syringes, 60mm syringes, litre measuring jugs, the whole works.
All stacked in a nice
neat pile.
No. We're going to have a shelf, a chrome shelf.
A chrome shelf?
Yeah. You can get them out of Costco for 20 quid.
Okay. How much did Costco fucking pay you to say that?
Not on that. It's just a bit of information for everyone. There's these chrome shelves, and they're about 4 foot high, 4.5 foot high. I'm not very good at that. And about 4 foot long, and you've got like 4 shelves, and it's just perfect to blind all your nutrients up. You can hang your EC things on the end and your pH stuff on the end, and you can put your little book on the top, and you can get a little camping chair, and it can all be just perfect.
And you can read in your camping chair, boom, boom, Garden Culture's new edition in your grow room with your 4x4 with 4 shelves, Costco chrome metal shelving.
Yeah, what would they want to read in that in particular, and why would they want to read it? Is there anything in there?
Yeah, there's a really good article by this budding scientist called Stephen.
Stephen who?
Stephen Brooks.
Really?
He works at NPK. Page 62. He's written an article on calcium and magnesium.
Let's show the viewers.
I don't care if you're all. I'm really proud.
So,
for Garden Culture,
if you want to,
hydro magazine in the world.
If you want to probably fall asleep reading Stephen's article.
What do you mean, probably?
Yeah, definitely.
Unless you're a geek like me,
No,
definitely
honestly,
cause
if you want to read and get some really good information, read Stephen's article.
There's an unbiased nanotechnology article, and I mean unbiased because Eric said to me it needs to be unbiased, otherwise it doesn't get published. So there's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
But now we've got hold of the article here, I can be a bit biased and go, it's the nano. What we're talking about here is amazing, the best thing since sliced bread. I got you on that one, didn't I, Eric?
And there is obviously
no, but basically that article just explains nanotechnology. Yeah,
in its
just in its simplicity, not our brand nano. It just
distributors from MaxiGrow, Nutriculture, Hydrogarden, and Highlight Horticulture. Make sure you get your magazines because these are just.
Is that who they advertised in there? Have they?
AutoPot. Oh no, they're the distributors.
Oh,
they're distributors.
Yeah.
So if you're a shop listening, get them on your shelves because the articles are just second to none.
And Stephen writes some of the articles.
And yeah, obviously those articles are definitely second to none.
Definitely.
And there's in this edition, issue 13, there's some really good articles.
I haven't read it yet.
One from Kevin 40 on giant veg. He's written one on there. It is really
wasn't he? Wasn't Kevin 40 asking for some of my sneaky secret seeds?
Oh no, we did an Instagram post last night with our attempt at a marrow, and it was good size marrow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he said, "Where'd you get the seeds from?" And they were actually your seeds, weren't they? I didn't know. So
they're given to me. They weren't mine personally. They're my secret friend. Yes, and he grows some serious stuff. Mm. And he has given me a nice. You took a picture.
I took a picture.
Yeah.
It'll be on Instagram tonight at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, he took a picture of the secret seeds that he's given me, which I'll tell you a couple of them. It was the giant, super duper whooper giant pumpkin in there.
Well,
that grows larger than a house.
Giant, super duper whooper. Can't think of any more words while my phone loads up. Was Epicenter. They were 1202 Wershing 13, a female 1596 Werner, and a male 1495 Stelts.
Don't tell him anymore. Don't tell him anymore. So, there you go.
That's it. We've got a few others.
So there you go, Kevin. I have actually got a couple for you as a present.
Yeah, see what you can do with them.
Yep, please do.
What was next? So the full nutrient profile, you would probably use in your brilliant grow room. You would have growth enhancers. CX, we mentioned this last week. CX's Mighty Growth Enhancer is a phenomenal veg booster.
But you could use any across the board growth enhancer. But you would be using growth enhancers. You would be using rooting stimulators, growth enhancers, flowering
boosters in the
flowering enhancers,
flower enhancers. You would be foliar feeding.
Yeah, definitely.
You'd be giving your plants a good flush at the end for flavour, taste and aroma. You'd be using beneficial bacteria such as Hydroponics, Gavita, Eco-Thrive Charge. Great White is a phenomenal endomycorrhiza, and others as well that we probably missed. If you
loads across the board, but basically you'd be using the full range of
supercharging your plants, basically.
Yes.
So, for the people watching live, we want to know what beneficials do you use? Mention any others that we've missed as well.
Okay.
Compost tea.
Yeah.
Compost tea.
Defo.
You'll be definitely using compost tea. Eric said compost tea. Actually, Eco-Thrive just brought out their Biosis instant compost tea. I can do with a
cup of tea as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a shout, that, you know.
Yeah.
Trying to go and do a cup of tea. Your mouth's getting dead dry. So, yeah, good point. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Also, in the Brilliant Room, we're nearly at the end of the Brilliant Room, you would use advanced horticultural techniques.
Ooh.
Thinning, chopping, pruning, LST, which is low stress training.
Not LSD. No, we are not promoting psychedelic drugs.
Although there's actually research to show LSD can be beneficial in treating soldiers with post-traumatic stress disorder.
What, getting them all off the barnet and taking them out for the night?
Of course. It can help. It can
help. Of course it would.
There's evidence, it's science. Don't say about science. But we don't condone the use of LSD in non-medicated prescriptions.
No.
Just get that in there.
Yeah.
You will have a magnifying glass to spot pests and disease early, as well as oil production in plants that show their trichomes. And of course, you will be using CO2 as well.
Yeah.
CO2, there's a few debates on CO2. let us know your opinions on using CO2. And I mean the natural forms, not the gas canisters.
Give us some opinion on the gas canisters.
The gas canisters, you can buy the emitters,
regulators, bottles.
They work brilliantly. Better in a closed loop system, but that's going to be in the boss room. In an open system, people can still use CO2. I still believe you can use CO2. You get the Exhale mushroom bags. Get them open.
The mushroom bags. You just named them the mushroom bags.
That's what they should be.
Because they grow mushrooms off them, and they are mushrooms. They are mushrooms, isn't they?
Yeah.
They're not magic mushrooms. Don't eat them.
What's George saying about CO2? No point in using CO2 unless you're running closed loop. So there's another opinion. I agree with you. There's no point in using... CO2 is better when used in a closed loop.
What about in a tent in the middle of the summer in the back bedroom with 6 lights on in it, and there's nowhere for they've got a 4-inch fan and filter on, and then we just give them some CO2.
If they're using 4-inch fan filters with 6 lights, they probably don't even know what CO2 is.
We've seen it all, haven't we? For God's sake.
What else was there? Smart CO2 bags do well here. Mushroom bags don't put a lot out. Exactly what I was going to say. The Exhale bags, they are promoted for use throughout the whole cycle. The way I use them is when you've got really small plants.
Hold on. You're going to have to explain something to me, because you're teaching me something here. So there's a difference between that CO2 bag and there's one actually called a mushroom bag.
I think there is one called mushroom CO2, but I just come up with that name for...
when we've left them in the box,
some of them do grow mushrooms.
They grow actual mushrooms on outside the thing.
Yeah. It's a bit weird, but there you go. So CO2, I personally use the Exhale brand.
But what about the bottles?
Well, come on to them. You should hold your horses.
Go on.
Hey, fucking horses for courses. Just hold yours for a minute. So Exhale CO2, I use when the plants are really small. You shouldn't have your extraction on full whack anyway, because... you'd be removing all humidity. You want high humidity when you're in the vegetative cycle. So your extraction's on low. You put the CO2 bag on the floor. CO2's heavier than air. And as you've got a little bit of air movement in there and your extraction's on slowly, the CO2 will be brought up through the plants. And I do know...
What's Andy saying there?
Non-fruiting mycelial mass. That's what you call them.
Thank you very much, Andy, for that.
Green pads for CO2. I've never actually used the green pads, but...
I haven't seen that.
They probably do work.
What's that?
These just basically small sachets of CO2, and when humidity hits them, they release CO2.
I haven't seen them.
I haven't used them, I haven't tested them, but if Andy's mentioning them, they probably do work.
Well, Andy, send us some. Your minge bag.
The CO2 bottles from TMB. Now, this is where we're going to have some controversy. We're going to cause some people to have a little bit of a chatter here. I still use them because...
The Fanta bottles painted grey.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, go on, crack.
With yeast and sugars and a bit of carbon in there. You add a litre of lukewarm water, give it a shake every day or every other day, and it produces CO2. Now, they recommend to hang them above your plants, but in the flowering stage, your extraction's more than likely going to be on full whack, and that's more than likely going to take the CO2 right out of the room. So what I do is I will put the CO2 TMB canisters on the base of the floor, and then as the extraction, CO2 is heavy in there, it will fall onto the floor. The extraction will bring that carbon dioxide up through the plants, and there will be some benefit for small grows, for small plants. If you're in big rooms, really big extraction, lots of plants, you're not going to be spending £30 on a bottle of TMB canisters that last for 2 weeks. Some of the testing that I've got in my research pad to do is I'm actually going to invest in a CO2 meter, closed loop systems, and I'm going to run all of these CO2 and find out how much ppm of CO2 did he put out and what's the actual benefit to the plants, and we'll do a podcast on it as well. Just before we finish on the brilliant grow room, you would use a water cooler to keep your water temperatures at 18 degrees C. So you'd probably have all these fancy high-tech gadgets.
Yeah, definitely.
Having your plants running at optimum. I want to go over to the comments section and
go for it.
What everyone's been saying. So we finished up a compost tea. Then George said, Humboldt Mayan Myco, you don't grow your own like brewer's yeast, just feed it sugar and you always have liquid mycorrhiza on hand. That's something I've not actually done.
No.
Great tip. I'm going to actually try that. Thank you,
We'll
George.
investigate that further.
He said no point in using CO2 unless running closed loop system.
Yeah.
The closed loop system is going to be in the boss room.
Yeah.
Because they are the ultimate.
We're coming up to that now.
Smart CO2 bags do well here. Mushroom bags don't put a lot out. Agreed. okay, extraction goes off at night, but most gaseous exchange is done during photo period. It is not most, all of CO2 exchange, gaseous exchanges is done at night. The plants don't actually take up CO2 during the night, so it's pointless running CO2 during the night. Non-fruiting mycelial mass is what Andy Irving said. George said, we verified with a CO2 meter the smart bags, and in 20 minutes it put the ppm up to 1800 in a 200 by 200 tent. Good, that's excellent testing. That's what we like to see, isn't it? Yeah. And we're going to be verifying that with my own testing, and if the two combine, then it's pretty much done deal. Smart CO2 also do a small teabag size one for propagators. I don't feel this is needed at this stage. The CO2 in the air is about 360 to 400 parts.
I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't be bothered with that, me.
The small plants, they can't exchange that amount of air to need additional anyway. So it's only when I'm talking about using exchange, the CO2 enhancers, I'm talking about plants maybe in the first week of veg up until you basically turn your extraction on, turn all the lights up as well. Eric said Extreme Mycos from Maxi. Yes, that's the one I forgot to mention. Extreme Mycos is a phenomenal brand.
Yeah.
They do Azos and Mycos.
Yeah.
They do wettable powder for the people that are running hydroponic systems. And I know that those guys are fully into their microbes and know exactly what they're talking about. That's a fantastic brand. Thank you for mentioning that, Eric. Andy said, base of floor, mate, with you all the way. Mycos. Yeah, exactly. Put it on the floor, allow your extraction to bring the CO2 up through the plant, get them stomata drinking on that gorgeous carbon dioxide.
Okay, so that is
the brilliant grow room.
Brilliant. Now we are going to
finish off with the boss.
Yeah, the
Al
boss.
Capone,
the McDaddy,
the Thomas of grow rooms.
So if you had, would be safe to say an unlimited spend as well?
Unlimited spend. Anyone that's watching, you've got £1 million. What would you buy for your grow room? You have a 6 metre by 6 metre grow room. You've got unlimited funds, and your one mission in life is to grow the most amazing fruit, vegetable, herb, medicinal plant that you possibly can. What equipment do you use? We'll check up on the comments in a minute. They're all going to take the piss now, and no one's going to comment, aren't they? Right? Just to fucking have us off. We'll talk about what we'd use. So you would definitely have everything that's in the brilliant room. You would have in the boss room.
Yeah.
I just want to state again.
But then we go to next level.
Yeah.
Because all of this could be fully automated via laptop.
Yeah. I just want to state as well for anyone that's just joined. Boss is a Liverpool word meaning the best, brilliant. McDaddy, the Al Capone, whatever. It's the best. So that's what boss means. And apparently, Eric told me yesterday it's also a Canadian word. It means the same thing in Canada. I thought it was a Scouse word from Liverpool, but it means the same there as well.
They copied off us.
They copied off us.
You copied off us.
So I've written a par meter. You would go around your grow room, you'd set up your super duper lights, and you'd go around with your par meter, and you'd find out the perfect distance between the top of the lights, the top of the canopy, and your lights as well. And you'd also get to see the spread. So you're not going to have any hot pots. Rick, no hot pots. just don't have any hot pots. You wouldn't have hot spots either. So you're not going to burn your plants in any particular area. And you're not going to have areas of darkness as well where the plants aren't going to do too well. What's George said? Unlimited funds. I'd opt for a small private Caribbean island and a good old sun tanks. Can't argue with that, really, can you?
No.
Being stuck in a grow room with a stack of
we've got £1 million and we're going to stay in the grow room.
George calls and goes, well, you bellends, I fucking paid for an island and I'm using the sun.
Well,
it's a good shout.
It's like you get.
You would then use, as well as a par meter for measuring optimal light levels, you would be using a range of beneficial microbes for different stages of growth. So you'd be using, if you're growing veg plants and you needed nitrogen fixing bacteria, you'd make sure you included them. Phosphorus fixing bacteria. Hydroponics does a fantastic range. Gavita, which outcompetes Pythium. Top heavy crop, which is essentially a veg boosting microbe, and Triple F, fully formed flowers, which is a flower enhancing microbe. So 3 different there in their range. I'm sure Mycos and Extreme Gardening have a range for different times of growth as well. So you'll be fine tuning your microbes along with your nutrient profile to make sure that the plant is uptaking full nutrient cycles as well.
As of hardware,
I leave this up to you because you are the hardware king. Fully
I love
automation.
the hardware, yeah. So basically, you would have definitely master tank, which is capable of being filled and drained, automated via laptop through control switches. It can then be added to via laptop using an IntelliDose system.
With the IntelliDose systems, that they can actually pick up the A, the B,
yeah,
and dose and maintain the
Dosetronic
EC level
as well.
Dosetronic.
Yeah,
you can maintain the EC levels at the set parameters. That
so now
set.
You've got a tank that's capable of filling itself with water. Well, you can determine how much water it needs when it needs to be drained. You can then add nutrient to it to the required EC level that you will be measured and fully controlled all once again by laptop.
pH doses.
Yeah.
So you'd set your pH, let's say for argument's sake, between 5.5. 5.8.
We actually sell a pH doser here that would actually definitely be on the Brilliant list.
Yeah.
And we sell them for like 120 quid, and that basically is you plug it all in, set it up to your system, and then you put a bottle of pH down, connect it to it, screw it on, and that monitors the pH, but then doses the tank continuously. So that can be done for £120, and that's
by Milwaukee, that isn't it?
Yeah,
Is that
and
the Milwaukee one?
yeah, and that people are thinking when I'm talking about laptop stuff and all that, like they probably are thinking you'd need £1 million for it, but you really don't. You just need to have a look in the industry at what is available and stuff like that, because we have a lot of this stuff on display in the superstore, and people just walk past it all half the time, and because they don't pay attention to what they're doing and don't really take much pride. We were talking about this before, weren't we, Stephen? It leads to how successful do you want to be at growing. It depends what your aim and objective is, and once again, the only way you can be successful and be the best and be boss, yeah, be better than brilliant, yeah, is to love it more than
anything else.
It's for you to be your passion, to be your number one objective and primary goal is to be the best grower, and with that becomes the success of it.
And we'll finish off when we finish, we'll talk about our little conversation on passion, because I think it's worth just telling people how we feel. But in the I've just thought about something else for the boss room. You would have the lighting, and if you're using digital ballasts, you would have the lighting and the air and the intake and the heaters all monitored from one system. And the system I'm thinking of is the SMS all-in-one hybrid. You can plug up to 4 lights in it, your heater,
yep,
your air in, your air out. It's got a thermometer probe on it. If it gets too hot, it'll increase the extraction, so removing more of that heat. If it gets hotter again beyond the critical point that you set, it'll start to dim lights and turn lights off, but it'll always leave you one light on, so you're never in complete darkness. And it's just giving you that little bit of extra control. So if you're not there all the time, you're not going to fall flat on your face when you go into a room and it's 38 degrees and your plants have shriveled and not even Wilk.
Well, I'm just going to come right in and just go boom, up the climate. You full closed loop system, so the whole room's fully controlled and automated. There's no more than any fluctuation in temperature rise. You preset your temperature and it stays at that.
What's Eric saying? The boss grower is educated. You stole me thunder there. But you're absolutely right, he is educated. School or self-taught, it doesn't matter. Knowledge is key to understanding how the plants grow. And that, bloody git, stole me thunder. So I was going to say this. What you will see in the boss grow room is a boss grower. Doesn't matter about all of these nutrient regimes and microbes and £1,000 lights and this and that and all the other. If you haven't got a boss grower, you're not going to get boss results, are you?
And then this leads back to what we were going to talk about.
Passion.
So
what we'll do is we're going to finish the boss grow room there. We finished up on closed loop systems with optic climates and the
all of that. And as Eric said, it was education. But passion is also in the boss grow room. Without passion in the boss grow room, you'll never be boss.
Nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
So, just to finish up, me and Thomas, we were talking about what makes grow shops different, what makes some stand out, what makes others do good business but don't really do much else, and others just sort of open and close and go by the wayside. And how do you become successful at what you do? And I've read lots of books on the topic, and I listen to audio books as well. Dozens.
I haven't read any.
I showed them to you before, didn't I? And basically I can sum it all up into one thing: passion. That's it. If you do what you are passionate about in your job or your career, you will be successful, guaranteed. Because with passion comes obsession. I'm obsessed with answering questions in hydroponics, and that makes me read more and makes me get involved, and we do the podcast and we do live feeds and we do it all just because we want questions answered.
Just because we love it. We sit here for an hour with all this equipment that's cost a fortune.
You're still cringing over that, right?
And we do it because we love it. Simple as, not because anyone pays us to do it. We do it because we like it.
And that's it. Do what you believe is your passion. Try and make your job your passion, because then...
And plus, hold on. You know what I'm like.
I do.
Plus, we like to do things that are no other grow shops doing. So to every other grow shop who may be watching, we thought of this before you. It's too late for you. Well, you could start, but boom, how many? We're 2 years in.
Yeah.
So you've got some catching up to do. So good luck with that one.
I'd love for there to be another.
Now that I've stated this, you're gonna look like a proper idiot. Yeah, I was gonna say a different word. An idiot starting it now. So to the next person who copies us, on podcast or tries to do the Facebooky thing, you are an idiot. You have won the idiot award because you are not innovative. Unless they come out with an innovate to imitate, and it's better than ours.
Yeah,
go for it.
We love it.
Musical.
It's what?
In the style of a musical.
Yeah. You need to do it in the musical, otherwise we won't watch it.
Yeah, we're going to do our musical soon.
NPK Live on ice. Swan Lake.
Yeah.
They're all the musicals.
I could picture Rick in his fucking
2-2.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he got in uni? A 2-2. An Archbishop Desmond 2-2.
And me in me Swan Lake suit. Aye.
You've already got that. That's worrying. Phil, let's go for the comments before we sign off and bore everyone after death.
Yeah, before we start ranting on and stuff.
In a boss room, I'd have a Solistech A1 R reflectors par meter to get the light spread dialed in perfectly, and a selection of bulbs for different stages, a flood and drain system for the whole room, closed loop with added CO2, Blue Lab Guardian, and a range of different teas. Sounds brilliant.
And a Carlsberg fridge.
Yeah. Boss room, ozone from System Air. Yeah. Removing all your pathogens, help remove smells.
Ozone generator.
Ozone generators. System
I'm
Air.
not the biggest fan of them.
No. Headaches.
Yes.
Severe,
yeah.
If you get them right, though, you can help out a lot.
You know what? We're going to do a podcast on ozone generators. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. That's what we'll do. We're going to do some investigation into it as well.
Okay, get all the different brands up.
Yeah.
George also said Jeff Ditchell's book, Not 100% Grow Based, is very, very good. Yeah. Jeff
What one?
Tell us which one. Jeff's a good friend.
The white one.
Is it?
Yeah.
He's done a documentary.
You know, I'm not the big fan of books anyway. I'm not. Listen, people, I'm not the book reader in this duo. He's the book reader. Oh my God, you want to see how many books he reads? He's got them all over the shop.
Well, it's better than telly, put it that way. Big Brother Live.
I'm a doer. I'm a doing person. I just like to get my hands on and just get hold of it.
Thank you very much, Ian. What you said, well done, lads. Loving it. Lol, I tell all my customers to watch you too. Thank you very much, George. George, what shop? Tell us your shop, full shop name.
Yeah, please do. Because obviously you're in the gang of good shops because you actually like what you do and you pay prevalence to it. And that's what we love. Because they're up and down the country, the UK. How many shops is there?
I don't know how many good ones there are. There's 500 shops approximately, I think.
Yeah.
However, how many good ones
give or take a few, come on. Give us some slack. And not all of them
are passionate.
Are passionate.
They do it because they just think it's a quick, easy
some people are in the industry because they used to own a welding company or an accountant, and they decided that their business advisor had suggested them to go into sales and marketing and what industries could be okay to do it, and then they've stumbled across hydroponics and off they've went and they've invested a sum of money and they've got a team of students to work in the store over summertime holidays. And that's what we're about. We don't like that. We'll come for you. We'll gun you down. We will out you like that. And see your sales pitches. We'll go through them with a fine comb. Stephen will do all the research, and then see all your bullshit images that you use. Rick will find them on the internet, and we'll out you. So I'm telling you straight, if you're one of them shops who think that you're coming along for an easy ride and are going to blag all the customers and tell them these products are good and they're not, and it does this and it doesn't, and you haven't got a clue what you're talking about, and you're not a grower, we're coming for you.
It's part of the war.
Yeah, that's the war. When we declared war, we declared it against you guys. You know who you are. We see you at shows. Yeah, you know, because you just do a woo U-turn off your popski, because you know that you can't have it with us, because we're with all the real shops, all the real growers who love the industry. Why? Because they're passionate. They're passionate is what drives them, not money.
And that's it.
Boom.
George, Ian said, when you're doing a podcast on Revolution EC fans, I'll send you our EC fans down. Send us them down. Let's have a look.
Let's do it.
Crack on. I have
and you know what? We'll get it. You know what's great? We can get the thing on here.
Yeah.
And you know what's gonna be great for these people? How many times do I open boxes on things and something seems to fall off, and I just laugh? But that's life, and we like to work with the manufacturers and say, right, that switch fell off, and then they go and sort it. That's when you've got a good relationship then. Because when the manufacturer listens, yeah, because nobody gets everything perfect. Look at us. Hey, all the time we get things wrong. It's life. Get over it.
Yeah.
Dripe your eye and crack on. Do you know what I mean? But we listen to people. If we get something wrong and somebody says, hey, Steve, that was crap, we didn't like that, don't do that again, we'll take it on board and we'll do that. The same as way some of these manufacturers are, and we really like that. And it's a way to move forward.
And if you're willing to put your system here on a live podcast,
boom,
in front of, to be honest, there's probably not many.
So, as we were saying,
I'm made up for everyone that's watching live. Oh, I just see it on the fucking Rick. Come and give us a bloody hand.
See, so I told you we get things wrong, and that wasn't rehearsed. That looked as if it was a fix. That
your one's gonna fall again. Rick, come and stick it. And we need to bail. We need to probably go to the hospital and fucking do something. Fix the head. Look at all the likes coming through. Yeah, that was fucking funny, wasn't it? Let's get to the rest of these fucking comments before that shit hits us on the head again. George is from Chase Lane Hydroponics, Gloucester.
Big shout out to George.
He obviously knows his shit, and
yes,
thank you for your contribution today.
Yeah,
much
boom, and the support. Yeah,
George Fido.
So hold on, because this is a point that I want to make. Where was George? Where's the shop?
Chase Lane Hydroponics in Gloucester.
Also, okay, yeah. Hold on. As I always say to you, yeah, I go blah 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 blah. Make sure that when you go to your shop, you speak to the right people. Now, we haven't got a shop in Gloucester, so to all our listeners who are in Gloucester, George's shop's there, and George is like us. So go and see him, and he'll go and educate you. You know, unless you want to drive 4 hours up to come and see us, that's fine. I don't mind that. No offence, George, but you all get what I'm saying. If each shop's as passionate as us, you guys out there, the customers, can easily walk into your local store and get the same education that we love to give and learn every single day. And that's just my point. So big shout out to George.
Also green lamp, which he put in comments there.
What's
George,
green lamp?
Something that he sells. Probably when you don't want to turn your big bright lights out in your room, you turn the green lamp on. It doesn't wake the plants up.
Oh, well, George, you're going to have to send me one of them.
George Fido said, keep the ozone outside of your room. The ozone will kill the beautiful aroma you've worked so hard to achieve in the end product. Use only ducting away from the room into the atmosphere. Great tip. Thank you very much, George Fido. And we'll probably pick that up again when we do the ozone podcast. NPK Technology is by far the best hydro store I've ever been to. The staff are as knowledgeable as can be, and they're all top lads. Always have a good laugh too. I'm definitely loving the live show.
How much did we pay him to say that?
He got lots of free products to do that.
Decent. We need to get more people to say stuff like that.
We just have to give them more free shit. Edit that bit out though, Rick. George Fido said, pissing myself laughing. Ian said, lol. Well, this is great for us because getting injured is apparently.
Oh, we've made Gary's crying.
Crying with laughter.
Always crying
George
with laughter.
said, live FTW. I don't know what FTW means.
For the win.
For the win. Yeah, for the win. I know what FTM means. I just don't know what FTW means. George said, use that bloody silver duct and tape, did you? Yeah, probably. Ask for Shaggy. Might even get a Scooby snack if you go to the Gloucester shop. Green Lamp CFLs, you'll be getting some sent up. And then, and that's it, really.
So thank you for listening to us.
How long was that? Hour and a half? Listen, if you've been on this live feed for a full hour and a half and listened to this podcast...
You've got well more patience than me, put it that way.
And a bit more than me as well. I'm here doing it. I don't know if I could listen back to myself, but that's up to Rick to edit. He's got to listen to this 4 or 5 times to edit out the podcast anyway. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. And that was What's in Your Grow Room. To all the podcast listeners, thank you again. Head over to NPK Live on Facebook if you want to see us live. And we're going to finish it there. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.